Oscar de la Hoya is all set to pit Vergil Ortiz against Terence Crawford if Vergil stays victorious in his coming fight.
Is Vergil ready for Terence Crawford?
Oh yeah, he's ready for anybody. He's 21-0, 21 knockouts.
On Saturday night in Las Vegas, Vergil Ortiz Jr. overcame the knockdowns to earn a majority decision victory over Espahacek, becoming the new interim WBC super welterweight title. The fight, which was filled with non-stop excitement, stood out for several reasons. First, it was an intense toe-to-toe battle that exceeded predictions. Second, despite Ortiz's struggles, the result was fair with Bahacek not being robbed. Last, although Ortiz showed resilience, his performance suggested he may not yet be ready to face WBA champion Terence Crawford.
Oh, we knew it was a close fight. As soon as he came to fight, he was prepared. Definitely, honestly, he came in prepared. He came in to fight all 12 rounds very hard. He took a lot of punishment too, and I gotta give him respect and credit for the type of fight that he put up.
Turkey Alex stepping back from pursuing a Canelo versus Terence Crawford fight. The spotlight now shifts to a possible clash between Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz Jr. In a recent interview, Alex stated that if he couldn't secure the Canelo versus Crawford bout, his next big goal would be to arrange Crawford versus Ortiz. Turkey stated that this fight could be a thrilling showdown between the pound-for-pound king and one of the sport's rising stars.
Understands you've already sent an offer to Canelo to fight Terence Crawford if Terence Crawford wins tonight.
But if he doesn't, I want Ortiz.
You want Ortiz? Vergil Ortiz versus Terence Crawford.
Yeah, if they accept, we want to see this fight, and I want to see.
Some say it is Terence's weakened performance, while others think that Canelo's unreasonable demand for money made this deal impossible. Now, when the deal is not made, there are high chances that Terence versus Ortiz is coming to the deck where Terence is looking for a suitable opponent. Now, Turkey's Alec and Delalia have shown interest in Vergil Ortiz versus Crawford too. Turkey went to Vergil's changing room and had some chit-chat with the team before his fight on Saturday. He asked them to make the deal done with Crawford. He encouraged Vergil to go big because the coming fight was the bigger one for him in his career.
Next, you want Crawford?
We wanted to.
Yeah,
we wanted first.
Yeah, we wanted. I come for this deal.
That's right.
Shukran.
The next one is the big one. Oh yeah. Finish the job. Oh yeah.
Let's do it. We're ready for Vergil.
Talking to DAZN right before the fight, Turkey, Alec again stated that this was the fight they wanted. Responding to him, De La Hoya praised his efforts for the sport of boxing and thanked him for being this thoughtful for the sport he loves.
I love that fight. Tim Zoo is in the mix as well. Big fights against Crawford. That's the reason why we love Turkey coming into the sport of boxing that he loves and make the big fights happen for the man.
Oscar de la Hoya recently spoke highly of Terence Crawford, emphasizing his place as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. Today, he praised Crawford's boxing style, which he thinks is both fan-friendly and highly effective, noting that Crawford remains undefeated. De La Hoya said Crawford I love because he's probably the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. His style is fan-friendly, he's a great boxer, undefeated. De La Hoya also touched on Crawford's recent difficulties as he moved up to 154 pounds to face a particularly tough opponent. He accepted that it's normal for a fighter to not always look as dominant when facing larger or more difficult competitors, especially when moving up in weight and looking ahead. De La Hoya expressed excitement about a possible matchup between Crawford and Vergil Ortiz Jr. in the first quarter of next year. He thinks this fight could be a major event. He added, he went up a weight class and he met up with a guy who was really tough. Sometimes you're not going to look as great as you did in your previous fights, but I think that Crawford and Vergil Ortiz's first quarter next year will be a super fight. Oscar de la Hoya again claimed his plans for Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s next steps in boxing, stating confidence that Ortiz is ready for any top-tier challenge. He highlighted the possibility of Ortiz facing Tim Chu before going on to a bigger showdown with Terence Crawford. De La Hoya sees this progression as a way to build Ortiz's profile while setting up a high-stakes mega fight with Crawford.
Vergil ready for Terence Crawford?
Oh yeah, he's ready for anybody. He's 21-0, 21 knockouts. After this fight, Vergil winning, I will pursue maybe Tim Zoo, before we get to Crawford.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, you have to you have to defend your title once, or you have to unify with Tim Tszyu because he has a fight coming up.
For the IBF.
But in the perfect world, imagine Vergil Ortiz, Tim Tszyu, the winner fights Terence Crawford. That's a mega fight. That's a super fight. That's what boxing's all about.
Oscar de la Hoya recently expressed his opinion that Vergil Ortiz Jr. has the skills necessary to defeat Terence Crawford. He pointed out that while Crawford possesses the exceptional ring IQ, he thinks Ortiz's overall skill set is superior. De la Hoya claimed that Crawford was exposed in his recent fight against Madoff. He noticed that Crawford struggles when opponents don't stay directly in front of him and instead use movement and varied attacks. He argued that Ortiz's mix of power, speed, and ring generalship could pose significant challenges for Crawford, making for a potentially outstanding fight.
I literally think he has better skills, and that's only it's not the punching power. Crawford has ring IQ like there's no tomorrow, but he was exposed last Saturday night. He was exposed against Madrov.
In what way? What do you mean?
Exposed in a way where if you change up your style, if you don't stay in front of Crawford, okay? If you're not a target to him, right in front of him, he'll pick you apart. But if you're on your toes and you throw your jab and you're throwing your hooks and your combinations, he has trouble figuring you out. And with Vergil Ortiz's power and speed and ring generalship, it can be a great...
Before this fight, Tim Tszyu was meant to face Vergil Ortiz Jr. on August 3rd at the stadium in Los Angeles, but in the unfortunate turn of events, the fight got cancelled due to a still healing cut from his previous fight in March. Tszyu, who received the injury during his 12-round split decision loss to Sebastian Fonder, has not fully recovered and will need more time before returning to the ring. The injury that cost him his WBO 154-pound title has left Tszyu's team cautious about rushing him back, especially against a formidable opponent like Ortiz. Tszyu's handlers, who are now considering a more gradual return to the ring to ensure his full recovery. They understand the risks of reopening the cut against a high-caliber fighter like Ortiz, especially given Tszyu's current physical state. Tszyu's team is focused on getting him back to full health before taking on another top contender, while organizers like De La Hoya are eager to return him to the ring. Tszyu is also committed to the sport and looking forward to fighting Ortiz. In a recent video, Tszyu said that both of the fighters are young and have time to fight.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like we're both young, and there's plenty of time to get that fight. So, later on down the track anyway.
Oscar de la Hoya has expressed a strong interest in securing big title fights for Vergil Ortiz Jr., recognizing his ability to win at the highest level. De la Hoya thinks that Ortiz, who has been steadily pursuing a title for some time, is now ready to take on the toughest challenges, such as a fight against Terence Crawford or Tim Tszyu. He emphasized Ortiz's impressive stats and career progression, noting that they have deliberately chosen tough opponents to prepare him for world titles, confident that Ortiz has what it takes to emerge victorious in these big matchups. He knew the drill, and he knew that to go after the title for this weight class of 154, you have to go against the biggest super dog, which is Crawford for them. He wanted Vergil to unite all the belts, which is not a piece of cake for real.
For Vergil, we want to get him to that world title right away. I believe that none are available just yet, but we want to go after Tszyu. We want to go after Crawford. We want to go after the top guys. I mean, Vergil Ortiz is ready. He's 20-0, 20 knockouts. Come on. We can't wait any longer, but we're gonna take the hard route, and we're gonna just go after world titles, world champions. I want to make sure that it unifies all the belts. So you know what that means. I mean, you have to go after Crawford, who is the big dog.
After Ortiz Jr. won this fight against WBC interim junior middleweight champion Serhii Bohachik and is ready to get in the ring against Tim Tszyu later this year, the stage could be set for a unification match with Crawford. However, Tszyu's camp might be cautious about taking on Ortiz, as it would be a risky fight, particularly if Tszyu is eyeing a more lucrative bout with Crawford. Tszyu's focus might lean towards achieving a bigger payday, possibly avoiding the dangerous clash with Ortiz, whose title is only the WBC interim belt, and like the full title held by Sebastian Fonder. Robert Garcia recently discussed a possible fight between Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz Jr., stressing the need for Ortiz to take some time off to rest and recover. Garcia acknowledged that Ortiz has earned this break but also expressed his eagerness for the fight to happen, saying that it's a matchup they are actively pursuing. He stated that it's now up to Golden Boy Promotions' Turki Alek and Crawford to come together and agree on the bout. Garcia also mentioned that Crawford might have other plans, such as pursuing a fight with Canelo Alvarez, which could affect the timing of the Ortiz fight.
within the next few months, I think he's gonna have to rest and enjoy his family, and go back home and take some time out, because this was a brutal fight. But yeah, you know, there's great plans. You know, Regan, Golden Boy Promotions, The Zone. I'm sure they're gonna pick the biggest fight out there for him. I also believe that Vergil is in a moment where he needed something like this to learn and to be ready for those big fights, because every fight has been, I can't say easy, because you know it's kind of offending his opponents, but he's comfortably won most of all of his fights by knockout. So this was a good learning experience for him, for me, for his dad, for the whole team. So we have to learn from.
Robert Garcia reflected on Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s performance in his latest fight against Sergey Bohacek, emphasizing the significance of this experience for Ortiz. Garcia noted how this marked Ortiz's first time going the full distance in a tough match, which provided him with invaluable experience in dealing with the challenges that come with such high-stakes encounters. He explained that this is the first time he has gone the distance and is in a tough fight, so this is all a learning experience for him too. He's never done it before and he's never been involved in those types of fights. Garcia continued by discussing how Ortiz managed to follow directions throughout the fight while admitting that there were areas for improvement. Garcia noted that while Ortiz displayed resilience and discipline, the fight also exposed areas where he could grow, especially in terms of defensive strategies, reinforcing the notion that every challenging fight is a crucial step in Ortiz's development as a future champion. He said at the end, "We are pleased with his effort. Obviously, it could have been better, but it's all an experience. You know, the way boxing is, not every fight is going to be easy, especially when it comes to title fights. Tori is the right hand of all the big names coming in, all the thrills we are watching in the sport." He also thinks that the fight was very close and it could get better with a rematch and a post-fight response. Turkey expressed his admiration for the intense match, admitting that it was so close that he saw it as a draw. He also stated his interest in setting up a future fight involving Terence Crawford, but noted that a rematch match between the two fighters would be equally thrilling and well-received. Turkey Alec hailed the bout, saying, "Great fight. Great fight. I think it was a draw. We want him for Crawford, but if you have a rematch with this guy in the future, it will be great." Not only Turkey, but Jeff Mayweather in his latest video also proposed a rematch. Jeff Mayweather fully thinks that the win was for Bohacek. In a recent interview after the fight, he talked about his assumptions about the match and gave value to the 2 knockouts as well as the 3 rounds won by Bohacek.
Good fighter, but I didn't think you really won tonight.
Yeah, it was a close fight. Were you surprised with 2 knockdowns? I mean, a close fight, but when you throw 2 knockdowns and you think it should have went Bohacek's way. Huh?
Knockdowns, you already down 4 points. The other guy won more than 3 rounds.
Jeff Mayweather recently shared his thoughts on Vergil Ortiz Jr., voicing skepticism about Ortiz's readiness to face Terence Crawford. He pointed out that while Ortiz has built a name with a string of knockouts, the quality of his opponent hasn't always been clear. Mayweather stressed that when Ortiz finally faced a tougher, more experienced fighter, it exposed some vulnerabilities, leading him to think that Ortiz might not be fully prepared for a challenge as formidable as Crawford. He stated, "I don't think he's ready for Terence Crawford. I mean, he's a guy who's been built up with all these knockouts that nobody really knows how good the fighters were that he fought." Mayweather pointed out that when Ortiz was finally up against a truly challenging opponent, it exposed some vulnerabilities in his game. He added that tonight he had a real fighter in front of him, and we saw what happened. Jeff Mayweather continued to share his perspective on the potential matchup between Vergil Ortiz Jr. and Terence Crawford after expressing doubts about Ortiz's readiness. He emphasized the gap in experience and skill between the two fighters. Mayweather stated that from the body of work that I've seen from Crawford and the performance I observed from him, I just see Crawford as a better fighter even at that weight. Jeff Mayweather provided a detailed analysis of the contrasting styles between Vergil Ortiz Jr. and Terence Crawford. He pointed out that they are very different types of fighters, with Crawford typically displaying a higher level of skill and adaptability in the ring. Mayweather noted that in a recent bout Crawford seemed to fight differently, possibly due to concerns about his opponent's power. However, he emphasized that this was an unusual performance for Crawford and highlighted that Crawford operates on a much higher level compared to Ortiz.
Some type of fighter. The type of guy that Crawford fought. I think more than anything, I think Crawford, I don't know if he felt the power or he heard about the guy's power or whatever. And Crawford didn't fight like Crawford normally fights. So,
yeah, this one was like,
but
you needed to do one.
I think that fight, it could never happen again. That type of fight with Crawford. I just think that what I've seen tonight with both of these guys, they're great for one another to make a great fight. I think Crawford is on the.
Then we have Ryan Garcia is always in the limelight. He put his opinion on his Twitter handle and canceled the results given Garcia was criticizing Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s performance, suggesting that the Ukrainian fighter Serhiy Bohachik either won the fight or that it should have been declared a draw. He expressed that Ortiz's pre-fight confidence didn't align with his actual performance in the ring. In his tweet, Ryan Garcia said he did not take that from the champion Ukraine won that or a draw, especially how Ortiz was talking. Garcia continued his critique, pointing out that Ortiz was knocked down twice and repeatedly hit with predictable punches. He emphasized that Ortiz's face showed the impact of the fight and advised Ortiz not to act unbeatable when the fight was so closely contested. Garcia's remarks indicated that he believed Ortiz's performance was far from dominant and didn't live up to the hype he had created in the second tweet. Garcia added, "I got dropped twice and got hit with the right hands that you can see coming face messed up. Don't talk like you are someone that's unbeatable when this fight was close." While the speculations are high and Turkey and Golden Boy Promotions are all set to get these fighters in the ring. There is Matchroom Boxing led by Eddie Hearn. They have been eyeing Bud's Crawford for a long time now, and Ortiz is ready to land in the ring against Crawford Jr. boots. Enes has been calling out Terence too, especially after his amazing knockout win against David Avanesyan in Turkey. Alec also showed his desire to make Terence fight with Boots after Boots knocked out in Avanesyan in Turkey. Alec posted on his former account that he called out the boxer Jaron Ennis and promoter Eddie Hearn to congratulate them on Ennis's latest win. In his message, Turkey stated his interest in seeing Ennis face Terence Crawford in bouts at 4 pounds in the near future. He wrote, "I just reached out to boxers Jaron Ennis and Eddie Hearn to congratulate him on his win, and I'd love to see Ennis in a fight with Crawford at weight 154 soon." Eddie Hearn recently commented on the potential matchup between Jaron Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford, calling it one of the biggest fights in the sport. He acknowledged the significance of the bout but also noted that it might take time before both fighters are ready to jump into the ring together. Hearn emphasized that it's their job to position Ennis for this fight, suggesting that the next step is for Ennis to unify the titles at 147 before considering a clash with Crawford at 1554.
I think that the Boots Crawford fight is one of the biggest fights in the sport. You know, it's certainly one of the greatest fights in the sport. But we'll see. You know, I don't think they're going to be jumping at that fight till it becomes big enough. It's our job to get Boots in a position for that fight to become big enough. We wanted to unify the titles at 147 pounds. That's the next step.
Either Boots or Bud's Vergil is at its prime and looking for someone to hunt down. If the rematch happens, the results and outcomes might differ because the boxing community just witnessed a war, and if the two underdogs get in the ring anywhere sooner, things might change. For example, during an interview before the fight, he made his intentions clear. Serhiy Bohachik expressed strong confidence when discussing the possibility of a Crawford versus Vergil Ortiz fight, asserting that he would disrupt those plans. He emphasized his belief that he is the strongest boxer in his division, holding the title and seeing himself as the rightful champion. Bohachik made it clear that he views himself as the dominant force in the division, challenging any notion that other fighters like Crawford or Ortiz could surpass him in his weight class.
They say that Turkey wants to make the fight against Vergil and Terence Crawford, depending on how he looks.
No, you know, I see this last show. He told this. No, I'm break his plans. Really?
Did you hear that, Turkey Alashek? Serhiy Bohachik is looking to ruin those plans.
Because I'm stronger. I'm best boxer in my division. In my weight division, I'm best boxer. I'm champion.
Yeah.
I'm hold this title. I'm here champion. I'm here boss in this weight division.
Bernard Hopkins before Vergil's fight shared his thoughts on Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s potential to challenge top fighters, particularly Terence Crawford. Hopkins emphasized that if Ortiz wins his upcoming fight, he will be a serious threat to anyone, including Crawford. He cautioned against underestimating Vergil, noting that Crawford, being in his 30s, even though he remains a formidable opponent, has decreased mobility and power. Now Hopkins addressed the mixed reactions to Crawford's recent performance, advising people not to be misled by it as Crawford is still a dangerous fighter.
I believe Vergil, providing he gets past this fight, is a threat to anybody. Crawford ain't a pushover. It is not an old 30 plus. You believe that or think that because of his last performance, you're a fool. Do I like the fight based on the outcome of Saturday, which means, of course, win, but how he went. See, how Terence won a couple of weeks ago, you're hearing mixed feelings from most people, correct?
Yeah.
Don't be fooled by that.
Now whoever will get to fight Terence, and most probably with high interest from Turkey and keen interest from Golden Boy Promotions, it looks like we are going to see another fight in the near future. Who do you want to see against his parents? Do let us know, and don't forget to share the video with fellow boxing heads.